Do you think you can quiet that inner negative voice you have when you write? Because I think you can. Hi, my name is Jennifer Gregson, and I'm a tarot book coach. I help writers get past blocks so they can actually start enjoying the writing process and finish their novels, all using the magical tool of tarot. So I don't think there's a writer around that has not had the issue of sitting down to write and hearing that inner voice tell you that something is wrong or something sounds stupid or nobody would say that or nobody's going to read this. We've all been there, from best-selling authors to newbies. Everyone has that inner voice. And some people say you can't quiet that inner voice, but I think that you can. I think it takes a little time, a little investigative work, and you got to get into your mind a little bit, which is not always easy, but I'm telling you, it is so worth it. First, you need to figure out who's talking. Is it someone that you know? A parent, an old teacher or mentor? Is it just a version of yourself? I have a snotty teenager that talks to me when I try to do TikTok or Instagram reels. She's fun. I do have that old teacher voice from back when I was doing theater. That voice is still there, unfortunately. And sometimes it is just that inner critic. You don't really know where it came from. It's just there. So that's step one. You got to figure out who is talking, because that can actually help you figure out how you're going to deal with them. Second, I want you to personify that voice. So even if you know what that voice is, like if it actually is someone from your past, I still want you to personify them a little bit. So like, I know what my inner teenager looks like, wearing Doc Martens and various 90s gear, listening to a little bit of Alanis Morissette. I know what that old teacher looks like, right? If you don't have somebody that immediately comes to mind and you need to personify that inner critic, that inner editor, I like to use tarot cards for this. So you can either go to your favorite deck and look through the cards, which is what I would recommend, until you find something that connects right away with that is how I feel about my inner editor. If that doesn't really vibe with you, I would go over to Pinterest and look at images or just flip through magazines. Try to find something that says, this is my inner editor. You need something to personify it, because the next step, we're going to talk to it. And so I want you to have something in your brain or in front of you so you can actually start a conversation. Which leads me to step 3. I want you to interview them. I mentioned this in the previous video that I did 2 weeks ago. I want you to start a conversation with them. And I know that sounds a little nutty, but I promise you it works. So I like to do this freehand, like longhand in a journal, but you can totally type this up. Or if no one else is home, just talk it out. Anything really works, but start the conversation. I'd love for you to ask them some questions like, who are you? What are you doing here? Why do you feel the need to criticize everything I do? Literally ask them and see what they come up with. I know it's a little weird, but if we personify them enough, they just become another character. And you as a writer, we're used to that, right? We are used to creating characters and writing as if we are them. So be you and then be them. And go back and forth and start a conversation. Sometimes I like to write a full-on letter to them and then write a full-on letter back as if I am the inner editor, and I go back and forth that way. Now I'm so used to working with my inner editor that I can do it via Post-it note, but it takes some time to get there. Remember, we're building a relationship. I want you to befriend your inner editor. And that does take some time, just like in real life, when you meet a new person, they don't become your best friend right away. You may have a very strong connection with someone, but it still takes time to develop that intimate connection. So don't feel like you have to rush this process. Take your time and really work with this inner editor and find out what they're good at, what they're trying to do. The thing is, I don't believe that inner critic is there to harm you or hurt you or belittle you on purpose. I think they're trying to help you. My inner teenager is trying to keep me from being embarrassed when I do Instagram reels or TikToks, which I didn't fully commit to because my inner editor was like, you're going to embarrass yourself. That's what they're trying to do, right? The inner teacher voice is trying to keep me on track, trying to get me to do my best. And the inner editor is just trying to make the words beautiful. They're trying to help. They just do a really crappy job of it. They suck. They're not nice. That's just the bottom line. They are not nice about it. So if we can befriend that inner editor, we can make them a little nicer. It's beautiful. My inner editor jobs to do, things that I'm not that great at. I had a video maybe a month ago about how to name characters. I had to come up with all those tips and tricks because it's not a strong suit of mine. I would name everybody X or Jane. I mean, literally. So I give my inner editor that job when I'm writing first drafts, especially with secondary characters that I don't really need a fancy name for. My inner editor loves that stuff. My inner editor is great when I need to research. So I just let them know, hey, I'm doing the first draft right now. I don't need you. So I promise I'm going to let you play when I get to the research part. It really does work. It really does quiet that inner editor voice when I write. If the inner editor is a problem that you have, I would love for you to sign up for the waitlist for my signature course, Turn on the Tap, Stop Battling Writer's Block Once and for All, which opens in early February because Module 3 is all about this process. And I go super in depth with journaling prompts, tarot spreads, exercises, the whole thing. It's like the whole module is about dealing with your inner editor because I really believe this process is so helpful and not a lot of people do it. So if this is interesting to you or you're like, yes, my inner editor is a problem, then sign up for the waitlist. You will get early intel and a discount the day before we officially open the doors in early February. Also, I would love to know, how did you personify your inner editor? Did you use a tarot card? Did you already have someone in mind? I would love to know, so leave a comment below. And all the goodies can be found in the description box. And subscribe to my channel because I host videos for writers every other week. I hope you have a lovely day and write on.